Good morning, 8Cs, receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Miss Irma.
Thank you. You may sit down. All right, 8Cs and receiving school students. We looked at settlement patterns, right? Can someone tell me? Without looking at your exercise books, what are settlement patterns or human settlement patterns? Eileen?
Human settlement pattern is where people tend to live or settle.
All right, good. Settlement patterns are places where people tend to live or settle. Examples of settlement patterns, receiving students. All right, we have villages, all right, cities, towns. Urban areas are towns and cities. Rural areas, villages, and also settlements. So those are examples of settlement patterns, where people live, or where people tend to live. Now, our topic for today's lesson, what causes human settlement patterns? What causes people to live in cities, live in towns, or in villages? What are some of these causes or reasons of people living in villages? What are some reasons of people living in towns? Some reasons of people living in cities or settlements. So we're going to look at that. Today's lesson, receiving students. For the receiving teachers, in your own time, you can use this grade 8 textbook for your class. People and places, page 43 to 48, and you have some exercises also in there. So in your own time, you can also give exercises or homework exercises to your classes. All right, class, can we have someone to read, please? Right, receiving students, we have one of you to read. All right, let's have Emmanuel.
Settlement patterns are affected by the physical environment and the needs of humans who live there.
Okay, good. Next. Let's have Aaron. Can you read, please?
Some of these factors are positive, so people live in a place because of the good things there.
All right. Rose.
Some factors are negative and people do not live because of the bad things there.
All right, thank you. All right, let's look at the physical environment. Settlement patterns, it says, are affected by the physical environment. For example, let's look at the soil, right, or fertile soil. People like living in a place where the soil is fertile, right? So when the soil is fertile, they can grow their food. Is that clear? Receiving students and 8Cs. So mostly people like living in a place or an area where the soil is fertile, so people can use that soil to grow food. So that's why people live in that area. They look for fertile soil, right? Another example of how settlement patterns are affected by the physical environment, climate, right? If the climate is too cold, I don't think many people would like to live in a place, all right, where the climate is too cold, all right? Okay, another example, we can have flat land, right? People would like to live in an area or place where the land is flat, not where we have slopes or mountains, and people will find it very hard to move around. So those are examples of how settlement patterns are affected by the physical environment. So again, some positive factors, some of these factors are positive, so people live in a place because of the good things there, right? Some people don't like living in places where there are bad things. There are bad things there. Sis, you clear on this? All right, let's have a look at this question. All right, class, read the question, please. Again, read the question.
Why areas have population densities?
All right, why areas have population densities? Density or population density meaning the number of people living in different places or in a country. All right? Number of people living in a place, in a village or in an area. Right? Why do we have some areas? Why do some areas have many people living there? Or why areas have population densities? The number of people that are living in an area, in a place, is sometimes more than in other areas. Other areas, we have less number of people living there. In some areas, we have many, right? Many people living in there. Why? All right, class, receiving students, you can categorize your reasons into two groups. Environment reasons, or let's say the physical environment, and human reasons. Why do we have places, all right? We have some areas where they have so many people living in that area, whereas in some places, we have a less number of people. Now, if you can give us some reasons of why areas have population densities, your reasons, you can classify them into two groups, right? Environment reasons and human reasons, right? HCs and receiving students. So please, I'll give you these cards here. If you can think of your answers and you come and paste them up on the board. Right here, 1, 2, 3 for each. 1, 2, 3. 3. Wait. Get it. 3. Yeah. 3. All right. I think I gave you 2 examples already. The beginning of our lesson. All right, I said sometimes settlement patterns are affected by the physical environment and also the needs of the people. And I said, 1, soil. All right, the soil is fertile. People look for soil, fertile soil, so they live there. They live in a place where the soil is fertile so that they can grow their food. They can grow food for consumption. Another reason was the land, right? Landscape, the land is flat. Many people like living in places where the landscape is flat, all right? The land is flat and they can easily move around. So what else are there some reasons? Are there any other reasons of why we have areas with many people living in? Right, receiving students, if you can categorize your reasons into two groups, environment reasons and human reasons. And you can have your answers. You can write your answers on the board, right? HCs, please. Can I have you to, here, some markers are here. As I said, you can write your answers on those cards there. It is one example, fertile soil. Why many people live in an area? Because of the soil. Soil is fertile. What else? Come on, any other reasons? Get your answer, put it up there. Some groups are not thinking. You don't have to write a sentence in full sentence. Just shorten it. Like what I've done. Fertile soil and in there. Okay, good? Yep. Any human reasons or the needs? Other groups are not thinking, they're still sitting down. Marker. What about human reasons? We've touched on environment resources most. Uh-huh. Good, good. Or we can say why areas have high population, all right? Why areas have high population? So as I said, categorize your reasons into two groups: environment reasons, human reasons. Right, is that all? Which group didn't go up? Didn't all of you went up, right? All right, let's look at our reasons, all right, of why we have high population in some areas. You finish with your answers or your reasons, receiving students. All right, environment reasons, fertile soil. People like living in an area where the soil is fertile so that they can grow their food. Climate, they look for, a climate where it is not too hot, not too cold, not too wet, and not too dry. All right? Easy access to water supply, yes, all right? Where people can easily look for water, find water. All right, community wealth. What do you mean by community wealth? An example? Schools, aid posts. Okay, that can come under what? Human reasons, huh? All right, or we can say services, government services. All right, or you can write government services such as schools, aid posts, flat landscape, flat or low landscape. All right. Resources. What type of resources? Group 1. Resources. What type of resources are you talking about? Environment resources. Okay. Human resources, or natural resources. Vegetation. All right, let's say grassland. Vegetation, where it's easy for us to make gardens or build buildings or houses. Yes. Land available, a lot of land is available. People look for places to settle. All right, human reasons. All right, you have safe environment, easy access to relatives, job opportunities. People like moving to places where there are jobs, so they can have jobs. Easy access to transport, yes, that's one important thing. Location, access to power supply. All right, very good, HCs and receiving students. So make sure, if you can just take note, all right, just get the main points into your exercise books. All right, also receiving students. So those are some reasons of why we have areas with high population. All right, let's look at our next question. All right, HCs, we'll move on. Once you're finished, let's go on to the next question. Okay, class, read the question, please.
What causes changes in human settlement patterns?
What makes people to move to towns or to the villages? All right? What makes people move? And they don't stay, they're not stable. They do not stay in one place or live in one place or in an area. They move. All right? So some people move to towns, some people move back to the villages. What causes these changes? Let's see. All right. Okay, group 1, can you come and write your answer, please? You others, get ready, group 2. What causes people to move from place to place, or what causes people to move to towns or back to the villages? What causes these changes in human settlement patterns? Quickly, if you have an answer, go and write up on the board. Right, receiving students, you have your answers, please. Go up to the board and write your answers. marker there? Any marker there? Or there? Naomi, can you use this black, please? Yeah. let's look at some of these reasons here. Why people move to towns or back to the villages. What changes or what causes changes in human settlement patterns? All right, people move to towns because of job opportunities. They want to find work, all right? So they move to towns to look for work or to find work. All right, next. People move to the village because of financial problems in towns. So they have to go back to the village because there is no work, all right? No job. They cannot afford, all right, anything. They have to go back to the village. Lack of government services, where in the village or in towns? Charlie? In the village. So they have to look for government services, good services, so they move to towns. All right, people move to towns to find work, right? From the villages, they move to towns. Into towns, they move to towns because there's not enough land, maybe in the village, not enough land, so they move to towns. There's no way to earn money in the village, they move to towns. People move back to the village when they cannot find any jobs. People move back to the village after they have finished school or work. Or people move to be near transport. All right? People move because of natural disasters and the destruction they bring. All right, so your answers here, they're all related in here. So the changes of, or what causes changes in human settlement patterns. So 8Cs and receiving students, if you have done that, your receiving teachers, you can just summarize the points to the class. And as I said, if you look at this grade 8 textbook, you can get more information in doing the exercises on page 43 to 48. All right, I'm going to give you your homework, class. 8Cs and receiving students. Your homework for today, please. All right, class, just copy down this question. What is urbanization? Receiving students, what is urbanization? And have you copied the question down? Okay, good. Okay, can I have you to copy this one down quickly, please? Receiving students and 8Cs. Use the following information to show how urbanization has increased in PNG, right? Draw a line graph to show the total urban population. It's on the other slide, so just copy this instruction down quickly. While you're doing it, I'll write it down here. Use the following information. All right, you finish? And graph to show total. You finish copying this? Yes. All right. Cool. Okay. Now where to copy it? Okay, this is the information that you're going to use to draw your line graph. Okay, in 1966, the total urban population was only about 100,000. Okay, by 1971, this had grown to 232,000. 1980, HCs and receiving students, you can, by looking at that, just shorten it. 1980, what? The number was 303,300. 1990, the population had reached 607,800. By 2000, it had reached 686,301. Simple, all right? What I said was, you look through this, and instead of copying the whole sentences down, just get the main points here. 1966, the population was 100,000. 1971, the population of Papua New Guinea was, not Papua New Guinea, but urban population in Papua New Guinea was 232,000. 1980, 303,300. 1990, 607,800. And 2000, total urban population was 686,301. So from this information, what are you going to do? You are going to draw a line graph, all right? You're going to draw a line graph to show the total urban population. Now last year we did draw some line graphs and column graphs of rainfall measurements. So that's what you're going to do for your homework. Is that clear, HCs and receiving students? All right, good. So just that simple exercise. And in our next lesson, class, we're going to have a debate. All right, HCs, receiving students. Since we've been talking about human settlement patterns, life in the village is better than life in the city. All right, receiving students, organize yourselves for debate for our next lesson. And HCs, you get ready. All right, so maybe after this we can explain more. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. Our keyword for today is population. Thank you, HCs, receiving school students and teachers for listening, and you have a nice day today. Okay, thank you.